It was a normal day in Nino's village until suddenly it wasn't. There were thunderstorms, winds that howled names and clouds that followed certain people around. At first, he didn't want to go. He had to take care of his little sister and mother. They depended on him. But now there was a terrible evil stirring. Someone who'd found the Book of Skies and was using its power to bend nature to their will. And as soon as he did, he heard it again, the voice of the wind, whispering warnings about strange. They thought he was making it all up, probably because he sounded crazy. Deep in the mountains lived an old hermit who knew all about the wind spirits. Maybe he could help. And maybe, just maybe, he'd even lend them the power they needed to defeat their enemies. It was guarded by a powerful wind sorcerer, and the battle was fierce. Lightning cracked and thunder roared as the wind spirits fought to protect their home. But for every strike of lightning, the sorcerer had a counter spell ready. For every gust of wind, he had an answer. It looked like he was going to win. So Nino went back to the forest to speak with Ayla again. He climbed to the top of a nearby lightning tower and raised his arms to the sky. Closing his eyes, he let the wind spirits flow through him, giving him their power. With a voice that was suddenly not his own, he unleashed a torrent of wind and rain upon their enemies, washing away the sorcerer's spells and sending him fleeing. Rock slides, raging rivers, and terrifying creatures all tried to stop them. But Nino made it through all of them, guided by the voice in the wind and protected by the spirit of the skies. When they finally found the hermit, he agreed to help them, but he could only lend his power for a single day. This time she told him that whoever was behind the storms was going to destroy his village. Flood it so that not a single soul would be left behind. Nino returned to his village a hero. But he never forgot the voice in the wind or the spirit of the skies who taught him to listen. Then they would use the Book of Skies to control the floods and wash away the ancient sky spirits forever. And scary things happening all over the land, people being taken, entire villages being destroyed. The voice was frantic, and Nino was scared, but he knew he had to do something. Ayla believed that the storms were connected to this evil, but she was too weak to see what was happening. She asked Nino if he could hear the wind, and when he told her that he could, she asked him to become her listener, the one who could hear and speak for the wind. But the voice insisted, and eventually Nino agreed. He found her at the base of a giant tree, and when he reached out to touch her, she became one with the wind and swirled around him, entering his ear and speaking directly to his brain. She told him that she was Ayla, a spirit of the skies, and that for hundreds of years she'd been trapped in this tree by an enchantment. But no one else seemed to hear what Nino heard, the voice in the wind whispering warnings. One day, the voice beckoned Nino to follow her into the forest. When the wind spirits were at their strongest, they could control the weather and protect the earth. Of course, Nino had no idea what any of this meant, but he agreed anyway. He went back to his village and told everyone what he'd heard, but no one believed him. But how could this be stopped? Nino had no idea, but he asked Ayla if she knew, and she did. The journey to the mountains was long and fraught with peril. The next day, Nino led a group of villagers into the forest where the Book of Skies was hidden. Then Nino stepped forward. When the battle was over, the Book of Skies vanished, and with it, the threat of war passed.